all the stuff I know so far.
Okay. Yeah, let's get to changing me. Let's have it actually work this time. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, so like from his experience though, this is what I know so far.
Okay. Oh, you go. You mostly were starting off with combo routing.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Nice.
Something like that.
Okay. And yeah, that pretty much kills. Yeah, that kills Strider. That kills Rocket. So a good thing to learn about Dante stuff in general that I like to try to like convey, if you can at least without spending 2 meters and just at least 1 assist and getting at least the kill off of like something like Strider or Rocket Raccoon, you're pretty much already set to like kind of go forward with advancing things. They have 750, so you're pretty much right there. The only thing you're kind of missing is just the last bit of like extra damage you can get. And from that starter, your box dash is a decent starter, and you're not really missing much when it comes to like how you start your routing. It's just about like optimizing and knowing about extensions that you could be doing for the later parts.
Right.
Put me also for 1 bar, so we can like do comparisons for like how much you actually get. All right, cool. So yeah, so you also do jumping medium, which I am a very big fan of. Obviously, you're missing on the damage of like a kind of minute difference, but that's kind of why I like medium, because this is faster and it crosses up like, and you still like get the exact same hit confirm here. You know, like there's not really much you're missing as far as like getting the actual hit in. This is just a little more telegraphed, and this does have a longer hitbox, but if you want like off of like a reset opportunity, like maybe you just like get this and then you like box dash backwards to like go for the same side mix up, you're already doing that. So that's not really something I want to like focus on. It was, you started like this into crouching jab. If you're already getting the hit in with medium, obviously adding more jabs and more hits into your combo will add to the hit stun and the scaling. And you also did in the middle of it like million stabs. I can't stress enough that million stabs is not necessary. It's not really there to really add to anything to your routing. You do start a little bit later because you get into the gun loops like earlier, I guess, but it's not. I don't really recommend doing that as like your overall starter. So let's try to instead like do that same combo. What was that damage? Like 729, 728. Yeah, I see like it's maybe like muscle memory. Yeah, so that was even standing jab at that point too, which I don't know if it adds more or less scaling, but either way, it's kind of still the same point, like not necessary. So we'll do that instead of doing like the standing H into crouching H for Dante like this, you know, like how you did into it. Just go straight into like H into the launch and then go into your gun loop rep. We'll compare the damage. Yeah, exactly. Okay. But also we'll remove the jab in there too if you can get out of that muscle memory.
So like, so wait, so don't do the light?
Don't do the light, correct? Yeah.
So it'll just be, oh shit.
Yeah, see, this is why muscle memory is pretty important. Like I feel like it's just go straight into like M again. So just do like double M, or you can even just do straight H's.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna take some getting used to.
Yeah, of course. And you're on pad too, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, so I can get that. So you just do another M?
Yeah, just go straight into MM. Yeah. Ooh. So it still links. It still links completely fine. It's just you have to just get rid of the idea of going for jab instead.
Yeah,
And
that's
look at
about
that.
7,
Just
7,
look at
7.
just that exact same combo without doing the million stabs and
Oh,
without
that's
the
still a
jab.
million.
You already killed at the very last, even without that. You killed Strider and you killed Rocket. So already your mid-screen like conversion, you already got the like I feel like the most bare minimum that you can get from something like that, you know. And going forward, you can kind of take that and put that into practice for even going into the corner. The only thing that you can't really do too well is your gun loop rep. You don't really have the best assists that help with extensions. Like this is like if you were to get something with Dante, like if you somehow got him snapped out, this doesn't really do anything. But I do like, of course, you have this because you do this into that and then you convert with that. You can also like kind of reset with that. You could just do like hammer and then box dash out of there, crouching jab. And if they're trying to mash out with like a throw tech, you can convert with that. So
Right.
Hagar is going to be your best way to get extensions, but you don't have like a neutral assist to add to that. So it's something to kind of keep in mind. If you just are with Dante, don't even bother with really calling with this because this won't. You could probably get away with something like that if you're doing like keep away missiles or something, but for extensions and stuff, I wouldn't really try anything. Like I could try like maybe sticking to lab myself and try to find something with it, but it probably wouldn't really
I
be.
kind of got a use for it. It's a little useless, but I use it like if I'm doing like a corner combo, like I do something like this.
Mm-hmm. Wall bounce. Yep. Okay, that's a little cheeky. Okay, that's not terrible. I mean, that helps. That does do something. And I guess you could probably also do like instead of like doing jumping S, you could do grapple.
Oh,
Like that's another thing that you
when the
we could
lariat
try to
hits,
implement.
do the
Yeah.
grapple.
So like yeah, you could grapple off of that. I'm sure. So let me practice that. So we'll do that. I gotta get to the other side too. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man.
Look at that. Just off rip. Just off rip, you could do something like that. Just keep in mind that if you do it at the later end of your combo, the only thing you really get, because of the hit scaling, you probably won't be able to do gun loops. If you do it early enough, you probably can get like 1 or 2 reps. But if you do it at the end, I would probably recommend just going straight into reverb, fireworks, and then just go into super. But yeah, so right off the dome, you actually have something a little unique. So yeah, maybe give that a go. Like practice like adding grapple, or if you even didn't use like your. Well, let me see. Actually, now I might actually be cooking with another idea here. So like. Oops. Okay, gotta do a little earlier. Balls. No. Either way, get it to the corner, you get the hard knockdown, and then you can go. Maybe you could do this, like Revolver, if you didn't do your ground bounce. Maybe, but either way, the principle's the same. Grapple definitely works. Then you can go into, if you do it early, go into like 1 or 2 reps, and then go into reverb, and then kill. Or just go straight to reverb, $1 million.
Right.
So that's at least a little bit of combo routing you can do, but obviously it's more of like the problem I think that you're mainly having is how you approach neutral. I feel like from just watching your Frosty footage, your biggest thing that you like to do is this. You like to up S a lot. Obviously, like this is very slow on startup. We're not going to go into the negatives, but there are more options you can do from just going into like your neutral and just trying to get things started. Don't be afraid to just kind of be on defense. Like I kind of say this a lot, but Dante has like pretty decent buttons in the air. You can even like do like a get off me like with jumping jab. People try to get close to you, but try to like do a little more of like just like utilizing your double jump more, staying in the air, using more charged airplay. If they try to like come up with you for a throw, you have your jumping jab, your jumping M, and if you also like convert, if you hit someone with jumping N, you can convert into like box dash into H, and then just go for dive kick. So there are options to just kind of keep you like in a positive position even when you're on defensive, because obviously he has one of the best options in the air, which is obviously airplay. Um, Obviously, I feel like it's kind of a little understated that this is like going to get you killed a lot. Not even like if you may not even like realize that even like sometimes you get the hit, you're like, oh shit, I got the hit, and then you kind of like mess up if they're like on the other side, or you try to do it a little bit too late, and then you're like, did that go on this side? And then it's a little too hard to kind of react to on hit sometimes. So I don't really recommend like just kind of going for this, like just to even get things started. Just rely on the defense, get yourself a little bit more used to just allowing yourself to like go for the charge airplay. And if you're in just jump range, you also have Hager, so you have another little safety net that you don't have to do.
Oh, so you have to bolt cancel that?
If you want to like get out of like this position, yes. So you have to.
I didn't
So
know
you
that.
see,
I
like
was
you
just
can do like the
pressing
bolt
S and
move
then
at the
trying
end.
it. Yeah.
It's a little specific timing. You kind of have to wait for like the sword to kind of hit the ground first, and then you input it.
I know what you're talking about. Like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
So
But now I'm
that's a
talking
little
about-
bit
I'm talking
harder
about-
of like the something to get used to, but you basically can cancel like that into a dash if you can.
I was talking about this, because when I try to do air S, sometimes it doesn't work. But when I bolt cancel, it always comes up.
No, it always it's a timing issue. So if you see like when like look at the animation for like how he swings the sword down, he has a time where like he's kind of in the air and then taking the sword out. It's only until after the sword becomes active is when you can cancel. See that? So if you try to do it immediately as soon as he like does like start pulling it out, he can't. But as soon as it's out, then you can cancel it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's literally just a time issue. It's the same thing with trying to do like Killer B or Dive Kick. You can't do anything, including Skydance. You can't do anything.
Okay.
You have to literally wait until like the sword is out.
I see.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bolt cancel. The bolt cancel is literally just stuff on the ground, including like this to get that off. How are you with Dante's movement on the ground?
I just start plinking for real, so
Okay.
I don't know.
How is your plinking? Do you feel like you get it more consistent?
Not
Like
good. My plinks is not good.
okay. Well, what do you plink with? Do you plink with LM and then canceling with H, or do you do like LH canceling to M? How is your button layout for it?
I'm doing H and then canceling to LN.
Okay, so that's the problem. Dante's plinks, unlike someone like Hager, so like you can do this very freely, like with Hager or Virgil or Ghost Rider, etc. Like where you can just cancel with L and M, and that's mainly how I play. But with Dante, he kind of has like a weird thing where if you're not timing it perfectly, you'll get like standing jab or like crouching H. Like for some reason, his plinks are not as great with LM with plus H. Like it takes like the priority of the button faster than most of the other characters. So to kind of compensate that, some people try to plink with him with L plus H and then M as like the button to cancel. So that way you're not canceling out of H instead. You'll be able to cancel with M, and it's much more of a freewheeling movement. So if you maybe want to like try plinking with those buttons instead and see like how much further you get with that, that is an option to kind of revert to instead. But in general,
Going medium into LH.
so basically L and H are your plink buttons to like dash, and then you cancel with M. It may be a little bit weird to do on pad, so that's why I kind of say it may not be necessarily for you, but it is an alternative to use for Dante specifically that kind of helps with his personal plinking problems. You could just get better in general with just having the other layout, but that's just something to keep in mind if you maybe are having some trouble and you want to just switch between the button layout. But obviously with pad, it could be a little bit different. But that's just something you just have to kind of get used to with timing. Hager, I'm literally just not thinking about it. I'm just doing as fast as I can. And then with Dante, it's like kind of have to be a little more precise with my personal button presses, that you can get stuff like that. And then even if I'm like feel like I'm doing it perfectly, sometimes jab just or H can kind of come out, you know.
I think my plinking is just bad in general. Like the timing is a little weird.
Yeah, I guess we'll see with Hager. It's like
you see, I'm doing an input.
yeah, right, exactly. See, that looks a bit better. Like the back plinks seem to be pretty good, and then you get into
my back
forward,
plinks
it's
are
kind of
better
like
than my
stopping
forward.
sometimes. Yeah. See that this is more like a question that are you using PS4 regular pad or something?
Yeah, I'm using
Okay.
PS4.
Yeah. So I don't know how committed you are with like kind of improving your pad layout, but obviously there's the Victrix, there's the Xbox Elite pads with those paddles on the back that they do help with issues like this, where you can plink and you can use buttons on the back, where you don't have to use your face buttons to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Someone you could talk to for that is definitely Neos. He is one that was using just an Xbox 360 regular pad and then switched over to the Victrix and the stuff in the paddles. Obviously with the Zero help, but also with Dante and Virgil, they have their uses. So even with just like regular pad, I'm sure he has a little bit more tricks to maybe help with the overall button layout on just your regular pad if you want to get used to it. Or if you ever want to improve and just get like a different pad like the Victrix, I know he can help you out a little bit more than that than I can. But overall, the idea, the concept is just the plinking is to cancel your button a little bit more on a precise pattern, and it's a little bit harder to kind of like explain it without doing the pad because I don't know how it really works for it. So it's just to kind of get more. If you have any like gripes with like learning of how movement works, just keep on learning yourself with plinking. If you ever have like just free time to just try to figure things out for yourself. But if you have other questions with that, I think that Neos is definitely a better idea to try to learn a little bit for it, since he also plays the character too.
Every time I blink, it's random. Like I'll be playing Spencer. I go
Yeah.
for the mix. I get the back blink 6 times perfectly every time.
Yep.
But then when I come to Dante,
Yeah,
and Haggai,
that's what I said too. It's like when I was learning how to plink too. It's a Dante specific problem that I was mainly having. It's a little bit more of a stricter timing than someone like Spencer or someone else like Hacker. But it's just a little something where it's just you got to get used to just how it works. And with pad, I'm sure there might be a little shortcut with it too that you could macro or whatever. But it's just another thing that just another little thing to practice on your own time for sure. But just something to keep in mind so you have another resource in case you need to figure that out too.
sure.
Obviously there's I already told you or you already knew about the /M's and the /H's, the differences for them. How well are you with like just kind of like your DHC options? Because I don't think in general like the team is not necessarily bad. It's just because of how front loaded a Hulk team is. There's not much that really needs to be said that you don't know already. You kind of already know like your mix-ups, and I've seen you kind of do really good work because of the jam session extensions. But is there any other thing that maybe you're having trouble with when it comes to his assist calling, or when to call it in the combo for your team, or do you feel like you're not really having an issue with any of that?
Like I say, I am having a little bit of issue. It was like, so it's like this mix right here.
Yeah.
Okay, that was saying something, right? So it's like, I kind of was playing with it earlier. Cause I was live in this H23 team, but it's like, sometimes when I call, like it'll come out late.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
you think it's
when
like
I
a
call-
timing of like when to call jam session?
Yeah.
So for Deadpool, for me it's like it's kind of fast and instant. So like I get the snap in and then like I'm already issuing quick work, like I call assist and then do quick work. You also have I'm sure you already know this too, but you also have like gamma charge. Like
Yeah, I do
you
that a
might
lot.
be able to
I do
like
the
kind
gamma
of get
charge one a
something with
lot.
that in the mid screen. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one I do a lot right here. I do it like,
Yeah, I got you.
I do it like this.
Yeah, that it's pretty much the same principle, right? Like you could kind of also do like maybe like something a little more cheeky. Is like maybe you could do like snap into like the H gamma charge one more and make them think they're gonna go on the other side. Like something to kind of keep in mind. But you could also probably like do like if they're trying to like mash a throw, like maybe you could do like snap and then do like a medium variant, like H medium, try to force them a block, and then like meet up for them for like a tech throw. Maybe there might be some like little like instances like that, but I don't think that there's really an issue with that. It's just literally I think just a timing. So with this, it's like I'm gonna go immediately going into H. That takes a little bit longer, but you have to like kind of also be aware of like your spacing. So they're in the middle here, and then like now you have to kind of dash in to get the mix up. But if they're like all the way like in the corner, I don't think that it's gonna be like the exact same. So like now you're kind of in the middle, and then now it goes for a more mix up. So it might just be like a position and timing deal.
Right.
Maybe like in there in the corner here, and then you go here. Let's see how that kind of looks.
I got you.
Oh yeah, I need meter. Yeah, that's fine. So I'll put it here. Then I'll get myself in the corner. Whoops. Yeah, that's pretty late. It's the same thing as if like being in the mid. Maybe it's like a dash up and then call the assist. Maybe that works.
Because sometimes I usually do it like yeah. Sometimes I usually do it like this. That was lariat. Like I walk forward then do it.
Yeah, or maybe like even like the dash too, like because you could dash into like that too. Like it's probably just like something you have to play around with, and also like maybe not off snaps. Like you'll get obviously more time to set up off of the kill.
The kill,
and yeah. What about the corner? Like, do you feel like you're getting good mixes like already in the corner with calling jam like that?
This is what I do. This is what I start doing. And a lot of people get hit by this.
Oh yeah, the crouching below. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So they gotta guess on which side it's gonna hit.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that one, I do this one right here.
Okay, so light into that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The only problem I see like with that is like flight characters like Magneto or like Morgan, Nova, shit like that. You kind of have to make the timing and the meaty right, or else they'll just dash out and then get out of that. So maybe like you could just kind of stuff with like jump and jab, or like just jump S, force them to block, push block, go for a tech throw, kind of layer it up. Yeah, no, I don't think there's really much off of like the mix-up's potential, and obviously with Hager mix-up, it's like the exact same thing, like maybe hooligan throw into like just standing H, like I feel like that kind of speaks for itself too. I don't think there's really much to kind of go over for that. Team Supers, I already know, I already see you. Nothing really to say there. We already know this tech, nothing really to say here. I think you already know all this shit. Nothing really else to like kind of really extra. I feel like the stuff around Dante, like where he's the assist and the support, much better off of because you're already front loaded with the team. It's just getting Dante to be on the same level in case like he comes out for any reason, right?
Yeah.
What are some small things that I can kind of go over? You already know about like the good routing with like going into into pigeon loops. You already know about this. So it's just, I think mostly like right now, it's just cleaning out the neutral. Like how well are you with like knowing about like all his tools? Like you already know like the airplay, but like what do you think is like his like outside of that? What else do you do neutral?
Sometimes I do this if I'm fighting big bodies. Sometimes I do this.
Yeah.
Oh, V cancel.
Okay, so you have V cancels too. Okay. How well are you with getting those consistent?
Not very, but I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. This is like you have to like what? You gotta do that and dash, right?
So everyone says something different. From what works for me, it's like I already know how to time it personally, so I can just kind of do both just on the fly, like without having to do that extra input because they're both one frame. But if you know like the frame of when you can do it, like it's just a timing thing that I've learned. But there are the shortcuts where I think it's holding down back and then hitting H and S at the same time. So if you do that, for some reason the game likes to register the inputs and storage like of how you press those buttons. And then in this game and for Dante, it's like they're both one frame, but if you press them together at the same time, the game thinks that you're pressing one button or the other at the same time and will give you that extra frame of buffering. So you'll be able to get whatever you're looking for out first. So if you do like this into pressing both at the same time, but you press it a little bit later, like into the last part of the frame, you'll get the crazy dance more. But if you do it early enough, you'll be able to get the fireworks more at the time.
Right.
So as long as you can understand that, like just doing it a little bit faster, and you can just do that like maybe like 5 times in a row, and like see like how well you can kind of do it like as that shortcut. So it's H and S, and you're holding down back while you do the input.
It's kind of hard to get.
It's a little difficult, but press it like, think of like here like the audio when he says don't blink is when he says blink is when you input it. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
audio
Here's
cues are a
it.
little bit more of your thing. Yeah, see that? You got Crazy Dance for that one. That's probably a little bit later. You do that a little bit earlier, you get the fireworks. I wish I had the input reader for like for myself too, but once you figure out the timing for this thing specifically, it gets much easier because it's never like a changing factor. You just have to know when to press it at that time, and then once you do, you just kind of get it every time. Yeah, that looked a little bit cleaner. Yeah. Okay.
I usually just double tap and it works every time. Yeah.
Oh, double tapping it?
Yeah.
Well, it seems like, yeah, double tapping seems to be a little bit more of your speed, but as long as the input actually comes out to what you're looking for, then you do have that shortcut. So, you know what to do with that in neutral, right? Like, what do you get from that?
Usually I just go for something like this. Hold on if I can get it. No, doesn't want to give it to me. Why is it not doing it now? There it is. Like, if I get do that, I'll usually just either back up or I'll go for a box dash.
Okay. You also can just go straight into super.
Oh, can you? Is that a good option? You talking about double trigger or $1 million?
Any super. Because think about it, it's fireworks, and what do you usually end your fireworks in the middle of a combo?
Yeah. That is true.
I also want you to see, like, that hitbox is very far, right? You could do that from full screen. So you could visually hit confirm that, or just kind of back off, and now you're still back in neutral state.
Right.
So you could visually hit confirm that into super, and then you could double trigger, or you could go into, you know, $1 million, X Factor, you know, and then punish, like, whatever you have. But I also want you to, like, kind of keep in mind, like, go back to full screen and do more fireworks. I'm going to stay in the air. And I want you to see, like, how far that, like, some of that hitbox actually goes. Alright, so that's kind of jumping height. So now I'm going to double jump.
No, I can't get it. Oh, shit. That does go far.
It goes pretty, not quite super jump high, but if someone's trying to jump and then fly up, like off incoming or something like that, or just from neutral state, you can force them to, like, block, and now they can't fly. Now they reset back to neutral, you're back down to the ground, right? So
Right.
that's just kind of like one of those things where it's like, if you're in full screen, and because you also don't have much neutral outside of this, you don't have, like, you know, you don't have, like, arrows, you don't have hidden missiles, you don't have beam. Because if you have that, now you kind of help establish a little more where, like, flight characters can be while you're still being grounded without having to go for something that's faster, like this. If you get this timing down, you'll be able to catch those guys flying out much faster, right? You may not get much out of it, but it kind of forces them to kind of reset their thought process to then maybe try to approach you on a more grounded level, and that's where you can kind of punish with them trying to dash up, and you can try to bait out, like, maybe like a standing button or, you know, box dash M to try to get things started, you know? So something that kind of, like, in more neutral heavy, like, sets, like longer sets, try to throw those a little bit more out just to see, like, how the opponent will react, and then you can kind of fish out for something else. And since, again, you're back in neutral, you can just go straight into that, and if you have no meat or whatever, you're full screen. You are in no position to have to try to go in or anything. You force them to come back to you anyway. You can go back to, you know, acid rain, you can go back to drive, you can go back to this if they try to push up on you. You have so much in neutral that allows you to get something from just even being full screen, and something that also helps them being pushed to full screen. And even like just falling down, getting hit like that, you would have hit confirm into super and then X Factor cancel and then get hit.
Yeah. Also, my problem is that I do this a lot.
Yeah.
When I get the hit, I know that scares their combo a lot. Milo told me I should just do that instead.
Yeah. I definitely recommend that for obvious damage, but you have to also think about like what you're more comfortable with versus what's optimal versus what you can really do in like a 3 out of 5 set, right? So there's obviously I do recommend with getting that more down packed, but doing this into this, there's no real problem with it because you still get kind of the same idea, especially if you're not going to kill either way. You are going to build more bar with the other alternative, but if your end game is to still get the kill and you're not going to kill, you could still get some cheeky resets and like get some same thing with, you know, less of a result with that. So it's not something that's like something where it's like you absolutely have to switch to something to like that, especially since it's a little more of like a stricter timing with like how you convert with this. Like, obviously with this, you're completely fine, but if you try, like, in the heat of the moment, try to go a little bit faster, you might mess up a little bit more because of how, like, the position kind of works. It's not as easy to do if you're not as comfortable with it. So, it's something to practice for sure to get more and used to, but just know that if you're not going to be 100%, you know it's going to hit every time, just keep on practicing until you get there, but there's no shame in, like, just kind of going for this into prop shredder, going teleport the other side, you know. You can kind of do like most of the same thing that you're already kind of doing with that type of combo anyway, you know. But just know that it's not as optimal and you just don't build as much.
How do you get teleport off prop shredder?
So what are you pressing to get teleport, right? It's double down, right? Can you before I answer that, can you do this? Oh, whoops. Come on. Can you do that?
Let me try. Let me see. Yeah.
That didn't work, right? Because you did it too late. The reason why is because you have to Tiger Knee it.
Oh, you got a Tiger Knee?
You have to Tiger Knee it. They don't tell you that, but you have to Tiger Knee your inputs. Especially like when you go off of prop shredder. Or you go into maybe Stinger. Something like that, you know? Yeah, I hear you mashing it, but input the fireball into the jump at the more end of like when prop shredder's done. So like when it's close to being finished, then go for it.
Like that?
Still a little bit late. So now is when I do it. Like the number is like closer to like the 7 mark. So it's pretty late into the prop shredder. You don't do it too early. You do it a little bit later into the prop shredder. And then you can kind of get that conversion. Yeah, still too late. That's it. There you go. You see?
Yeah.
So that's the way that you get that conversion from the prop shredder. You get acid rain. You get the M into that, right? The initial question was, how do you get this? It's the same idea. So it's double down, but you end, instead of like doing S, you do up an S.
You do. Down,
this,
down, up, S.
Then down, down, up, S. There you go.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. No one tells you that, and it took me a very long time to understand why I wasn't getting, because I saw very early on, it's like, how do people just get the teleport from that without having to mash? Because I had to mash this shit while I was on, and I didn't understand the specific. But it's the same thing when you go into Stinger, into canceling it to teleport. You just Stinger into down, down, up, and then
I got those pretty consistently.
Yeah. As long as you get that, and it's the exact same principle. It's just Also, another small little thing I want to show you is that
Whoa, nah, I can't get it.
the reason I'm about to show you why. So, what you're doing is this. Hold on. So that's why it didn't work, because if you notice that there are two versions of this pop-up. There's one where it only gives you the 2 hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's one that gives you the 4 hits. In the corner, you can go for the 4 hits, no problem. But if you're in mid-screen and you go for the 4 hits and you're not doing it properly, you could mess up the spacing. So that's why instead of doing that, you just do 2 into the extension. It makes things so much more consistent.
Oops. No, I can't get it.
There you go. See?
No.
That'll pretty much work 100% of the time. If you're doing the mid-screen, you just go for the two gunshot pickup.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll teleport, and then I'll be like I'll do the
Either
teleport.
you just get the bold
0.
cancel, or you just teleport, and then they hit the wall bounce later.
Yeah. 0 will be
exactly.
right here, and I'll be right here.
Yeah, exactly. So to get it consistent in the mid-screen, you just go for the two gunshot pickups
2
instead of the
bullets.
4.
Man. No, I can't get it. There you go.
Yeah, you got the 4 there, but you got the timing right, so that's fine. But for consistency, try to just get more and used to the 2. Yeah, that's much better. It's a little hard. I can assume it's probably a little difficult on pad, but it's literally just down forward and then 2 H's fast, and then it's just forward heavy into stinger, instead of having to go into multiple H's to then get the 4 and then forward H to stinger.
No,
Yeah, so you probably would have been fine there, but if you do if you do it a little bit later, you could get the exact same problem. And also, if you do stinger from here, that's how you get the teleport. Yeah, so I'll show you that. So there you go. So it's the same thing. It's just, going to this, then you get the stinger.
So you do 2 shots and then do it? Or you
Well, this is just off of the S, right? It's not like it's the pickup from here, because this is the 2-gun pickup into that. With this, it's just it's just like timing how it is normal. You just do stinger into the bolt cancel into that. But it's more consistent when you do down, down, up into that, right?
So you do down, 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 up?
Yeah, just to make it consistent. Because sometimes you just do stinger into that and then you just get that. That's the thing about Dante. It's the consistency is more important in this character than most others, because of how bolt canceling and canceling into other special moves and plinking, how they all really matter. One little mess up and then Dante dies. But if you get everything consistent and you never drop it, you'll be able to get the most max benefit out of everything.
Right.
That's why clay pigeon loops are so consistent. That's why, the pickup off of hammer into the regular rep instead of prop shredder is more important. Everything's on strict timing, but it becomes more of a rhythmic pattern once you kind of get familiarized with how every character is around every hit. That's why T-Hawk made that the gun loop rep for every body. What you can get off of different conversions. That's why there's some tutorials with how you just get the air confirmed into bolt cancels or whatever. So there's a lot of different things that you can kind of play around with and just get timing right in just being off of different body types too. Where Dante you can get maybe less gun loop reps instead of Hulk or Sentinel or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, so definitely some minute notes is the definitely the pickup with the 2 that goes into the stinger. The teleports that's off of this, then you go into the other side, same thing also with going into the acid rain, because if you're just going to try to maximum damage into the corner too, you kind of need that. You already know about the sky dance extensions, into the corner, so you kind of have what's there. Also, another thing to keep in mind with what you're practicing that I want to have you learn for now is obviously the plinks. Definitely talk to Neos for sure about maybe some ways to like kind of get around it with the pad that you have. Maybe he might have some like little tips and tricks for how to get it consistent. But also like the full screen into like your fireworks, you know, like do more of those, and do more of those like even just in like casual sets. Like just see how well you can do it, like not just against like a computer, like just AI. Just do it against like an actual player and just go for it. You're here to learn. You're not really here to win yet. You're here to learn and get things right, you know?
Right. One thing I do like, I don't know, $1 million real quick.
Do $1 million? Yeah.
Yeah. There's a way you can punish that. I gotta get the time to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, because it eats. Yeah, it eats with the armor. Yeah.
Yeah. One more time.
Yeah, I got
There's a
you.
way you can do it. Me and TJ Lab there. There it is.
Yeah, so you dash up, gamma charge one more. Yeah.
Yeah. You have
Yeah,
to
definitely a nice little thing, and you can even do it like from like even closer like than full screen because you won't have to dash up so much. You could just gamma charge one more early. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot. What other Dante can we fucking learn more about than fucking Devil Trigger? Yeah. Don't be sitting on your meter. This is kind of one of those things where it's like I value like meter usage with Dante almost more than any other character because Dante's movement, yeah, it's good, but Dante's movement while in Devil Trigger, I don't know if you really know this, but really like adds to so much more to his movement. Obviously, you already know the special moves, right? You already know all the Thunderbolts and Under the Sun. You already know Psycho Crusher. You know you know that he has these things, but do you know that he has a flight?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. Do you also know that he gets another double jump?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, he has another double jump, and he also has two air dashes.
Yeah, I knew that. I didn't know about the extra double jump.
The extra double jump and the extra double dash are something to keep in mind when it comes to more free-form movement. So if you have Dante and Devil Trigger, he'll gain more red life, and he's more better at and staying away from you from the full screen. But there's also something that I kind of learned on myself that, you know like how like Nova does like, you know, flight, and then he'll be able to get like a full extra like couple hits to then go into S, like going back to the ground.
Yeah.
Dante kind of has that. You know, like how you have like this, and then you can go into like LMH, and then you can do that. He has that, but that's not really useful. What I kind of like is the fact that he has this. You know, he can do that only like 3 times, but in flight, you can do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could do it 5 times most, and then you'll be able to fall back down to the ground. Did you know that part too?
Yeah, I know about that.
Something else you can do.
I thought it was only 2. I thought it was only 2.
You can do it.
Oh, but you have to be on flight to do this.
Yeah, you have to be in flight. It's one of those small little things that like I kind of just like to do, like while I'm in full screen. That it's not necessarily better than doing Thunderbolt like in Chip, but it does kind of give you a little bit more freedom with that. And this is kind of like something I don't necessarily tell people, but you can do this and cancel each other out. So you can do like, it's more like a spatial thing. So like, you know, like how you can push block, right? And then you mess up, you'll be able to like get hit because you may not have push block properly.
Right.
So if you're in like this position, and then just kind of like space them out differently, you'll be able to like maybe catch them off guard if they're trying to push block and not like negate some chip. So something like kind of keep in mind that you could just kind of throw those out like from full screen, and you could catch them like trying to like push block, and then they just get opened up for it. Some little thing that I like learned and kind of incorporated into more things. And obviously, this is something you probably should practice too. Tiger Knee, Psycho Crushers. This is one of those things where it's like kind of, I feel it's like a little harder to like really punish because the entire time that you're like once Psycho Crusher starts, like even me trying to Psycho Crusher you and then you Psycho Crusher in response, that will allow you to punish because of the iframes. But
Right.
you are open once you start Psycho Crusher. So up until like he basically starts the animation, and then once he's in the middle of it, you're free. And then at the end, off of the recovery falling down, he's open for getting opened up. So
Okay.
something also to keep in mind is that Psycho Crusher will cause a launch state if you're like hitting at the right time. If you do it a little bit too high, kind of like that, you kind of just get like brazed a little bit. So something like you kind of have to keep in mind. If you get the Tiger Knee like in neutral and you do a little bit too high, you won't be able to convert. You'll just have to kind of be aware and just convert once you actually get the hit. And something you could do like that is just literally just a standard combo. Like you could just kind of, I kind of put him back in the corner, but it doesn't really add that much hit scaling, is what I'm trying to say. You can go straight into a full-on gun loop and then extend that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if, I guess you could also like kind of layer this up. Like let's say like you kind of get like someone like stuck in the corner, and then you want to like try to force a block. You could call, like if they're trying to press a button, you can convert with Hager in the corner with that. You know, if you're trying to like maybe mash a throw or something, like you're right up in their face or something like that. You could layer this bitch up like a few times because you have such an invincible like beginning route. You have this to start, and if they try to press, you have Hager kind of forcing them to block and taking most of the chip too.
Where you can't push block Psycho Crusher?
You can't push block it until the end. Like if you're taking the hit, like look at that.
I'm trying to late push block. Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Very
it's like Captain America's Charging Star Super. Like some things in this game you can't really push block because of like how the projectile itself kind of works. So what you do, like if they're trying to push block and they like try to mash a button, like you just block high if you want, but you could come down and falling jab.
Right.
That'll like kind of like get things opened up for you, so you'll be able to like falling jab into like you know crouching jab, and then you get a full conversion. You know.
Right.
But yeah, definitely another thing to try to incorporate in your neutral game for sure. It's not really so much of like a huge like gamble. It's only like if you space it improperly and like you're Psycho Crushing from the mid screen, and then I can just punish with like standing jab or something. Launch,
Right.
you know, go for an air throw. You just have to be aware of like your spacing. Just be prepared to convert with it. You can also wait like until you hit the ground. Yeah, you could just wait to hit the ground and then just convert properly that way. You could do that, and that's probably your best way to really get conversions. Just wait for the falling animation, then just do like standing M, H, and then gun loop, or whatever you want.
One thing I want to implement too, I kind of have it, is the infinite. I feel like
Okay.
up is the easiest because down you gotta adjust the height,
Yeah.
and I really don't like adjusting the height. So I tend to go for up. But sometimes it'll drop.
Yeah.
It's too high.
It's the charging airplay timing for the most part, because if you just do it a little bit too late and you charge airplay, they're now too low to the ground for like the dash M into light into H, then it won't work properly. That's why like people say to go for the medium variant. That's something that you can still learn. Like it's still very difficult to learn the infinite as a whole, just even with like the LH one. But learning the M variant, like the one that's the most consistent.
You do the M one?
I do the M ones not as often, but it's also because of the quote unquote Monarch starter. You kind of have to like do this and then like that.
Yeah,
that I don't do because I don't really have the timing for it myself, especially in the heat of the round. I'm trying to get better with it just to have it consistent, but right now I just go for the LH version because it's what I go for. You can still do M into that, so
yeah, that's what No Life told me.
yeah, like you can still do that. I don't think it's necessarily like a bad decision to do that, you know, like it's just something like if you're like more comfortable with it, you know, like whatever comfortability you have. And then I can like kind of revert back to the other one too, you know.
Right.
Obviously, there's some characters you can't really do it to, like small bodies, you can't really do the LH version that well. There's fasting characters like Magneto and Doctor Strange. There's a few like weird bodies that also are a little awkward. Like Zero's initial start is a little weird. You kind of have to charge airplay like earlier. You have to hit him more on the head rather than like more on the body. So it's every character's different. I say just take it to the lab. Do whichever version you're the most comfortable with. Both up, down, and even like getting the side variant. The side variant's also one that takes a very long time to learn for myself personally. You can do it in the corner if you push them into the corner. So like this works because then you could just dash up and then you're on the other side. But if you like try to do it like while you're here and then you push them into the corner, you won't be able to get that because now you're like pushing yourself from the corner to then put them into the mid-screen. So something to keep in mind there. The mid-screen variants are also a little bit more timing constraint. Medium is like the most consistent for me, but there are other ways to get that. You know, up and down is the same, but it's the way that you convert it from being in the middle of the screen to the corner that I feel is a little bit more time-consuming to talk about right now. But at least you're learning the corner and like the up and down variant. Then we'll go into like how the mid-screen variants will go into it when I feel like it's a little more time to go into it, because it's a little more stricter timing and to get a little more down packed, I guess, in the corner.
Right.
But definitely something to keep in mind for sure. Can you, one last thing I guess that we can probably call it for today. Can you do this?
I got the pickup.
You have the pickup?
Yeah, I got the pickup.
Every time?
Yeah, that's like one of the first things I learned.
Okay. That's very good. Yeah, let's see it.
Oops, I didn't get my dash.
There you go. All right, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted that for you, like day one.
And you were about to build a third meter too with that extension too. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Can you do the the pickup with Volcano?
I tried, but I can't get that.
Okay. We'll try to learn that a little bit. Obviously, in the heat of the moment, I don't recommend doing this if you're not comfortable with it. The timing for this is obviously very strict, you know. But basically, you can shortcut it a little bit because
I think I got it. I had got it one time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can do it.
You can shortcut it, and I'll go into the details after. But there is a little bit of a better way to get it in.
I know you have to like dash forward, down, something like that. Hold down, forward, or something like that.
Close. So for me, it's like I'm already holding forward, and then my initial input from after inputting the dash is then down, dash, then like down forward. So it makes it a little bit easier because if you're already holding forward with your dash, you're already like in the forward momentum. Then the game will input register that all you have to do is down forward. So I'm literally holding forward now, then down forward, like down to then down forward, and you get Volcano. So it's the same principle after your dash, where you'll be able to like less input the exact same thing you're already doing.
Ooh, I think that was it too.
You were close. That was pretty close. But you can input 2 dashes in the middle of that to make it a little more consistent. So you could dash twice and then be able to get the pickup. That's a little more consistent, I feel, is like getting 2 dashes in rather than the 1. Because depending on the body, you won't be able to convert with just the 1. With big body, yeah, you're completely fine picking that up. But with like someone like a smaller body, like maybe Amis or, you know, even like Rocket Raccoon, like, don't really feel like you need it. The principle is still there to get the pickup regardless, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Like, if you had the double input, you probably would have been a little bit better off. But that is a small shortcut you can do, is while you're already inputting your dash, just cancel it with, just basically instead of holding, like, pressing the full thing like uppercut, you're already holding forward, then just down, then down forward.
Oh, I see.
The game is very lenient with like input storage, so it gives you like little shortcuts like that.
I see.
Yeah. So definitely practice some of those. And like I said, if you're not comfortable with doing it in the middle of the match, don't do it because you already have the other pickup. But if it's life or death and you have to kill and you don't have the bar and you're up on life, give it a shot. You know, like the worst that you get is that you dash up and you do Volcano and you're just back to neutral, but you're kind of negative. So it is kind of a Hail Mary if you're not inputting it that right, you know, that well. I would only just kind of go for it like when push comes to shove and you need to kill. You know, that type of deal.
Right.
Only like until you feel like very comfortable with it, you know. Nice. Yeah. I love that. It's the exact same thing that I have with quick work. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
One thing I seen like after this. Hold on.
Yes.
Grapple.
So it's
That
so
works.
you know how like I told you it's like this into double down and then up to get that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the exact same thing, but with canceling your button, like your special move, with up with the other special move. So you can even do that from here. See how I'm canceling into... So if you see my input reader, which you can't, if I just do this into a fireball like right there, you won't be able to get it. But you cancel from this into Tiger
Like
Knee.
that?
Yes, just like that. So, what I want you to do is do double Volcano. That shit is so meaty.
On incoming?
On incoming. I like to do that here and there because the chip on that, like just
Oh yeah,
look at the chip on just one of them. It's pretty good. You do 2 of those in a row, look at that. Not bad. It's really not bad. And I'm also not push blocking either. So if you come in with this, look at how high that active hurt box is.
Ooh,
like they're
shit.
about here. So you know what you can do with that? And
What?
since you have Hager, you can do Volcano, Volcano, call Hager in the middle of it, teleport.
How would that work? I got a
It's
Tiger Knee.
it's a little... Yeah, you have to Tiger Knee basically all of them.
Ooh, that's hard. A little bit.
It sure is. But now I'm getting into a little bit ahead of myself, you know, with like kind of giving you some extra tips like that you can do and practice with Dante, but it's something that I personally like to do because it's something that not many people do, and you can get away with like very tricky stuff like that. And even then, it's like if you're falling down to the ground and like I'm in the corner, you can just do that with calling Hager and like just getting so much extra chip with Lariat assist on top of that, you know?
Right.
So something to keep in mind, and you can also like do that. Here, I'll show you. So you can do that into the crystal, but what I like to do is hit confirm it into conversion. So the only way that you can convert with this without spending X Factor. Let's see it. Ah, damn it. Try to reset that. Yeah. You can super jump. You can super jump like H this into that.
That's crazy. Oops.
It's very, like I said, Dante's very strict timing and very strict button presses. But yeah, look at that. Then in the middle of that, you can still super jump and be able to catch it. And even if you like get the hit confirm, you have Hulk. You could DHC into Gamma Crush if you really want to.
That is true. Oh, my super jump timing is so off.
That looks good. Ooh, that was close. Yeah. And that works for basically most of the cast. I don't really think that there's like a character that doesn't work for, but that's another like thing that you can just kind of do and get a full conversion from. You won't get it that often because not that many people are pressing on incoming, but if some people just are not respecting you, you can just kind of throw that out there once in a while. And it's not a mix-up. It's just a media incoming. So you have to treat it like that, you know?
Ooh, that's hard.
It sure is. And I bet on pad it's a little bit... Oh, that was very close. That was very close. Yeah, that's close. Maybe just doing medium. Like, just do super jump medium into airplay. You did convert it, though. Yeah, that pretty... Yeah, see how that all kind of works out?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I'm just, like, kind of going over, like, some other, like, of the stuff that I feel like, for where you're at, is definitely the neutral game. You're plinking and learning to convert with, like, your full screen into teleports, you know, that type of stuff. We can go into, like, the next layer of, like, Dante stuff from there, but just to kind of give you a little bit of extra stuff to work on, you know, like, hey, you have that to now kind of play around with and see what you like. And, of course, as you see there, like, when you're in double trigger, I forgot to mention is that you have your instant plinks, you know, to get out of them, you know, so.
Yeah.
All right. How do you feel about that? You feel like you have a good few things to kind of work out, or is there anything like kind of lingering questions you have before I hop out?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything in the span of like an hour or two.
Yeah, there's definitely some more stuff that the next, like, I mean, they're doing an advanced bracket for RR on Monday. If you get some footage with, like, you know, between here and there, or like whatever else you have next, I definitely want to see like what you're improving on and like what you're getting, like, to lab out some more into an actual match, or even just like get somebody to do like a first to 10 or something, you know.
I can't play in that.
Oh, you're gonna play in it?
No, I can't. I'm a semi-pro. Apparently.
Oh, damn, tragic. Okay, well then just get like somebody to do like a full set with, like, just something on Parsec, you know.
Yeah.
It may be Parsec, but hey, it's like literally the only thing we have. So I'd rather see the improvements in like the actions being done in a Parsec thing than training mode, you know. I want to see like you trying to go for like full screen reverb into full fireworks into double trigger, or, you know, whatever, or just go for like the mix-ups into the corner with like the meaties on like the volcanoes, or even better, just when you get a conversion, pick up with that into the teleport with the stinger with the two guns. You know, I want to see more consistency with stuff like that, you know. I want to see a lot of like just kind of movement with Dante. The more that you move, the more that you can control the screen, the better off you'll be as like a player of it. And I feel like that's a really good step to like start moving towards, rather than like full combo routing and extensions, you know. All right, I'll post this up and I'll send it to you probably maybe like by the end of the night or even tomorrow.
Okay, I'm up tomorrow, so.
And it right there, good shit. Good lesson number 1.